Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Red Valkyrie. I'm your host Shae the Red, and I am here with the super amazing Clayton Barton. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, Shae. Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad we finally got to organize it.
I know I tell you, and this is like the story of my life lately. I keep on trying to get these super awesome comics on. I keep on coordinating with people, and I keep on having everything under the sun happen, and we just can't work it out. And we tried so hard to get you on when you were still alive.
Yeah.
But hey, I get to be one of the first ones to have you on after closing. So there's
totally. Exactly. Very, very true. And, well, these time zones are really, really tricky to line up as well. So they don't help out a whole lot.
No, not at all. All you Aussie peeps love you guys to death. Man, it is hard to get you guys on because either it's insanely late for you or insanely late for me.
But it's insanely early today. It's like 6 a.m. But it's good to be up early. Hit the beginning of the day strong, I say.
Well, I'm happy that you're okay being up early because I'm not a morning person. So when people are like, hey, can we stream like super early in the morning? I'm like, oh gosh, yes. I just won't sleep because then it's not as bad.
Totally. I get that.
So we are here for the absolutely amazing and incredibly brutal looking Kozor Descent into Madness. And I'm getting through some of the awesome people in the chat. You guys are always amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. And before I let Clayton talk about his epic looking comic book, we're going to watch the video. Because this is what I do now, is I like to watch the video and then try and sort my life so I can actually be a good streamer.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Kozor Descent into Madness features 43 full-color pages of intricately detailed art that tells a nightmare-fueled story of foul demons, abundant bloodshed, and the insidious corruption of a warrior's psyche. The story centers around a mighty warrior named Chief Baron and his clan of savage swordsmen who embark on a quest into the sacred swamplands of Nimlaar in search for the mysterious faceless people, a race of submissive super soldiers who will balance out the odds in a ruthless war between man and demon. But when they're attacked by a flock of flying beasts, their journey proves more fatal than they could have ever imagined. In this campaign, backers get no less than the definitive edition of Kozor Descent into Madness, which comes complete with refined edits, additional story pages, retouched interior artwork, and new wraparound covers. If you're a fan of dark fantasy and medieval horror, this book is for you. Back Kozor Descent into Madness today.
I needed the epic build to the nothing. I had to hear the end of it.
Yeah, oh my gosh. That's what keeps you there. And right? It's worth it, Yeah.
It is. It's the gravitas, right? That's exactly what it is. So you guys closed out yesterday at $22,370 US, 394 backers, and since yesterday, you've risen 9 backers already. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is really amazing. I mean, this week has been absolutely insane. Just so many people have really come through for us and helped us to get the book out there in front of as many eyes as possible, which has helped a great deal because we love the look of this comic book. We put a ton of really hard work into making sure that it looks great. But of course, a great looking comic book doesn't mean much if no one gets to see it. So
Right.
yeah.
This
And I
is
love your cosplay, by the way. It looks amazing. It's
Thank you.
fantastic. You look
Thank
like you
you.
walked right out of Kozor.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm really terrified to take this off because this is all oh, I'm still a little wet, gross. So I've got like the liquid scab stuff that I always use and liquid latex, but this is also toilet paper that I like put on my face and then paint it up and stuff. And so I have a stream after this and I don't know how that's gonna go. We'll see.
Yeah.
I might just have one side of my face that looks a little bit burnt. It'll be fine.
Look, totally, it'll be great.
Nobody could say I'm not at least in it for our Aussie bros. Like I'm 1,000% supportive of you guys, and Jason will understand and just make fun of me relentlessly.
Yeah, you're committed, and that's good to see.
I try. Okay, so I'm going to let you go ahead and give your pitch for exactly what Kozor is. I know that we talked about it a little bit in the movie that we just watched, but I want to hear from one of the creators.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've been talking about Kozor all week, so I'm pretty well versed in telling people what it's all about. So you see this guy here, right? This big, brutish Conan, but mixed with H.P. Lovecraft looking guy right here. Well, he's the guy that the story centers around. He's this hardened warrior, a grizzled guy, and basically him and his band of swordsmen are called upon by the king to go into the sacred swamplands of Nimlaar, which reside within the world of Kozor, in search for the mysterious faceless people, who are this race of submissive super warriors, essentially, that are going to help mankind to balance out the war, a big war that's been waging between mankind and the demon horde, essentially. However, when they end up waltzing into the swamplands of Nimlaar, they're attacked, they're ambushed by these foul flying bird beasts. And as to who will actually make it out alive, well, you'll have to read the book to find out. But the thing is that there's this, I don't know if you're a fan of David Lynch, Shae, but there's a lot of nightmarish scenes within this book. And one of the reasons as to why it takes off a David Lynch type, I guess, a narrative is because there's a psychic demon known as Magator, who is the main central villain of the book. And what he's trying to do is essentially break Chief Baron, who is the guy with the fish mask, right? And by the way, I should just say that fish mask, it comes from a sea monster that Chief Baron in the past has slaughtered. He's torn the face off, and now he wears it as this trophy, just to, Leatherface style, just to make sure that anybody who comes up against him knows what the deal is.
That's super.
So yeah, Magator is trying to break his mind, right? And turn him into a pawn, manipulate him for his own bidding. And he's just a perfect candidate because he's a super strong, powerful warrior, and he's right on the cusp of a psychological break anyway. So it's going to be really, really great. Now, Kozor is actually a character within the book. However, as I already mentioned, it actually centers around Chief Baron in this first issue, Descent into Madness. So you can think of Kozor as kind of like the throne in Game of Thrones or the ring in Lord of the Rings. It's the overall story is about him. However, it's also about the characters that reside within that world and their relationships with one another. We get to see them develop and evolve over time, and ultimately how they all connect through Kozor. Kozor is actually this mysterious, legendary, mythological god-type entity, and there's a lot of things that, and well, he's basically the very thing that ties everybody together in this world. Corey, who is the original writer and creator of Kozor, he's actually got a 30-volume saga planned out for this
geez.
series, right? So this is a long term dream that he's got to realize his vision for this story. And it all starts here with Kozor, issue 1, Descent into Madness. And we're really excited to begin that journey with everybody who has backed thus far and jumped on board. We've had 400 people so far over that now, get behind us on this book. They're going to have that in their hands. And that just means the world to us.
It's very, it makes me laugh. You're like, I don't know if you're into David Lynch, and then I see this and it's like, yeah, this is exactly what Lynch would do.
Yeah, I mean,
1000%.
yeah, it's like if David Lynch, I don't know, kind of teamed up with Clive Barker or something and decided to do a movie together.
Decided to do something that was just as mindfucky, but maybe a little bit more overt with some of his his horror. Instead of David Lynch likes to be sometimes annoyingly subtle.
Absolutely.
in his things that kind of unsettle you, as opposed to this, where like it's subtle, like this page, the progression that you have here, where he's finding her, and obviously it's her dad, I'm assuming. And as he's getting closer, she's mutating more and more. And it took me a second to realize, is she mutating more or is she just showing more of her face? But it's her eye is still mostly normal, like her actual eyeball.
Yeah.
And then it's fucked up. And then it's like all of her face.
Yeah, basically. And this is one of those nightmare scenes actually within the book where Chief Baron, so this is just him without his mask on. He sees this apparition of his daughter in the distance, and as he gets closer, she slowly turns toward him, and this demonic growth just starts sprawling out across her face, eyes, horns, until the entire scene is just engulfed in the demonic apparition. So it's just really, really cool. This is the kind of stuff that Corey and I love. This is our wheelhouse. And so being Corey's original story, he's brought me on board to help him out with polishing up the visuals, making sure that the colors really pop off the page, and that's what's allowing us to basically bring you the highest definition version of Kozor and put it in your hands. Oh, here he is now.
You said his name enough, he popped up. Hi, Corey.
Exactly.
How are you?
Hey. I'm good. Sorry I'm late to the stream.
Look, I heard you guys have been pushing and streaming hard, and it's like, 6 in the morning or something crazy there. So
yeah,
I feel you.
Corey, do you like Shae's cosplay? She's actually the Chief Baron's daughter. Right. Yeah.
I was wondering.
Yeah,
cool.
No, I just have a thing going on. We just try not to talk about it. It's fine.
The demonic growth. Yeah.
just a little thing. As Tony put it, it's a little bit of a sty that's starting to develop. Nothing serious. A couple of drops, I'm sure I'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
But so we were just talking about the story kind of overall. And so I guess now that we have both of you here, now my question is, what probably inspired you the most? I know that you said David Lynch, but where exactly did this come from?
Well, Corey is actually a really big fan of franchises like The Witcher, Dark Souls, but most importantly, Berserk. If you've ever read that manga or watched the anime, and
I have it makes me want to vomit and cry, and I love it. And
totally.
I'm just like, when do I get to watch it again? But I don't want to, but I'm going.
Yeah. You just take one look at Kozor and you can see that sprinkled throughout the visuals, throughout the story. But yeah, Corey, I mean, what other inspirations have you got for this book? Because, man, your visuals are just unlike anything else I've seen. Honestly.
Yeah, man. I mean, most of it's just crazy imagination. I mean, I guess I really got into dark fantasy stuff when I played Heretic 2 as a kid or something. It's like
Yeah,
a
you
really
love that.
old game, so
Yeah.
yeah. Just something I
Hexen, I
always
think.
liked. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which one of you is doing the art, or are you both doing the art?
Yeah, that's the really funny thing is Corey actually illustrated and wrote it like, man, maybe like 3 years ago now, and it took him 2 years to put together. Second comic book that he had worked on. Before
Yeah.
that, he worked on a before that he worked on a series called The Vault, and that was a 300-page like series, and it had individual issues within it, of course, but all up, those 22-page issues equaled 300 pages. So he got a lot of practice in. He really honed his approach to creating comic books, honed his style, and then did Kozor right after that. But still, because it took him 2 years being a young artist, we all know that you develop and evolve a lot over time. Over that time span, you just learn so much. And so the book at the beginning didn't look like the book at the end. And he was a little bit apprehensive about running an Indiegogo campaign for Kozor. And I talked him into it. I said, you know what, man, this is a great looking book. You know, I whenever I'd go over on the weekends to hang out with Corey, I'd read through it. I'd love the visuals. The story was really weird and interesting and just downright, cool in general. That's exactly it right there. This is the only form in which it exists, right?
Put that up again, Corey.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Flip through some of the pages, man.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to spoil that one.
He's like, let me pick very carefully. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty damn good in print because of all the colors. So
yeah. Oh, you guys really chose really good, vibrant colors. That's awesome. I can't wait to see pages like this, like in print.
Totally. So yeah, I said, you know what, Corey? What if I went ahead and I went over the top of every single panel and every single page? I polished up the line art, made sure that all the anatomy was correct on the characters, the proportion, the placement, fixed up any compositional issues, and made those backgrounds a little bit more, so that they had more depth and interest within them. Tweaked the colors, made sure that they popped, and then did a wraparound cover for the book. Would you be more willing to launch it on Indiegogo then? And that apprehension soon turned to excitement. We launched the pre-launch page for it the very next day. A few months later, we launched the campaign, and now here we are with, again, over 400 backers who have jumped on board, and it's absolutely incredible. So what that means is you're actually looking, I mean, this page I haven't touched yet really, but the other ones that are above it, you're looking at a hybrid style that is not just Corey's, not just mine, but the two of us merged together. And I think, being brothers, that's what makes this comic book so special, is it's truly a Barton Bros collaboration.
That is really exciting to know, actually, the fact that you both kind of helped with the story. You both kind of helped with the art and the color direction and everything. So it really is like one person's good idea fairy that was pretty well fleshed out, and another person coming in behind as an editor who just happens to also be able to draw and write and color. And so, hey, from a writing standpoint, this might be better. From a color standpoint, let's change this color palette. What if I added this in the background? And it's like, the fact that you can do that is impressive. And I love that it's both of you guys together. I feel like that makes this something really, really special.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right. Let's go over your tiers, and so people know how they can back you, because you guys are still in demand. Do you know how long you're going to stay in demand for?
Yeah, so the campaign ended yesterday, but we wanted to keep it in demand so that people who were waiting on their next paycheck, like you, Shae, and
That's fine.
or had bills to pay. We get it, right? Like,
Yeah.
people live lives that have expenses. We wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to jump on board and get themselves a copy of Kozor. So we allowed it to stay in demand. And as to how long we'll keep it up there, we're thinking a few months, maybe. So probably until the end of the year, maybe in January, we'll close it up, because we want to fulfill in March, right? Which isn't all that far away, actually.
It really isn't. It's actually a lot
Yeah.
easier than a lot of people think.
Totally. So we'll keep it up at least until then. We will probably do more than enough prints of Kozor to be able to provide some of the remaining copies on our website, bartonbrostudios.com, where you will be able to order it. But that'll probably be the only place that you're able to order it, actually. So yeah, that's our plan for in demand.
Awesome. Well, let's go over your tiers so people know. So your featured tier is pretty epic.
Totally.
And while it's 135 Aussie dollars, for all of us in the States, it's $95. So it's not as bad as it sounds, I promise.
Yeah, totally. That is one unfortunate thing about running a campaign in Australia, is you always see that big number in AUD at the top.
Yeah.
But that's just because your dollar kicks ass. That's why.
Just a little bit. Just right now, though. Who knows? Our dollar likes to do all kinds of crazy things.
Very, very true. So yeah, this is our featured tier, and it's been quite popular, actually. So it's got all 3 editions and 3 A3 sized posters that you get in here. That's the main selling point. So A3, for those of you in the US, that is about 11.7 by 16.5 inches, I believe.
So it's almost an 11 by 17. It's
pretty much.
Slightly shorter and a little bit wider.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really cool. They're shipped to you flat in what equates to essentially a Gemini mailer, which everybody is familiar with at this point.
Oh, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah, and all the hard copies come signed. You get digital versions of them as well. The reason we're providing digital versions is because, look, you're going to want to read Kozor multiple times. And at the same time, you're going to want to keep your hard copies in pristine condition. So we want to make that possible by giving you the hard copy to read maybe once or twice, and then the digital version to read as many times as you want. Now, the editions themselves, you're going to get the default definitive edition, which is the one with all the touched up art and whatnot, all the recalibrated colors. You'll get Corey's variant cover, and then you'll get the black and white line art edition, which is actually one of the most popular editions that we've got available, because, I mean, you saw the intricate, intense artwork that we've put into the interiors. So we wanted to take out the colors and really shine the spotlight on that beautiful looking line art. And so you're going to get black and white art on the front and black and white on the interiors as well.
Very, very nice.
Cool. And then you've basically, for the next few tiers, you've got all the single editions that we've put up there that you can back individually if you like, if there's a particular one that catches your eye. So we've got the definitive edition, we've got Corey's variant, we've got our other variant by Kane and White, with the black and white line art edition, and they're all available for $25 USD, which is basically the default price for a Comicscape book, except you get something a little bit extra because we really wanted to pack the value into these tiers. So you get an A4 size poster this time, which is 8.3 by 11.7 inches. You get the hard copy, of course, signed by both Corey and I, and you get the digital version, and that's pretty much it. That's what we're providing in those tiers. You can get the combo tiers as well, where you get the variant cover combo. Now, that's not all our variant covers, but you get Corey's variant combined with the default definitive edition. You get 2 posters with that one. You get the 2 digital copies, and yeah, we're really happy with what we put together here.
Those posters are 8.3 by 11.7, so they're A4, not A3. So these ones are a little bit smaller, probably closer to printer paper size.
Yep, pretty much exactly that. Yeah. Totally.
Funny thing is, aside from the fact that you have them up here, and I'm used to that, I also lived in England for 4 years, and so I got really used to it. People are like, "Do you have any A3?" And I'm like, "The hell is A3 paper?" And they're like, "This," and I was like, "That's like 11 by 17," and they go, "What? That's just A3." I'm like, "Oh, whatever, okay." So like, I just got really used to it after a while. Where I was like, "Okay, A4 printer paper, A3 11 by 17."
I mean, you guys are a little bit more practical.
And I go, "I don't remember anymore."
Totally, I get you.
What's the postcard sized one?
I think that's like
A2.
Is it A2?
No, Corey. A2 is like huge. That's like double A3. So
I thought that it went like out of order with sizes, and that's what was pissing me off.
Like A5 is a smaller one. That's just half the size of A4, and then probably A6 would be a postcard size, maybe. Yeah. Or then it goes into like B2 and B1, and
you're just like, I don't even know what these sizes are anymore.
Totally. I know the main ones, A4 and A3. That's the ones we use most commonly. I should say though that all of our comic books will be printed on a standard A4 dimension size. So we're really looking forward to actually holding this book in our hands, because we've never really seen it in that format before.
So wait, would this be A2? Because it's like 4 A4s.
No, that's maybe actually, yeah.
I want A2.
It would be. Okay, cool.
Oh, look at all the people in the chat just showing me up and like, oh, A2 is twice A3, A3 is twice A4, postcard is A5 or A6. I love you guys. Stop being smarter than me and making me look like a jackass. No, I always forget. I'm like, I lived there for 4 years, and
Jeez, I think she froze.
Yeah,
so did me.
So. That's okay. Sometimes our internet sucks. In fact, I would say most of the time.
Dude, Aussie internet, man. I have to use my mobile internet at the moment because my house internet's so freaking bad. So.
Tell me about it. But yeah, man, like, so.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. No worries. We deal with that all the time.
Yeah, I pay a lot for internet to have it not work. Apparently, it's super fun.
Yeah. Do you live close to the city, or are you more like a rural area where the internet's a little bit worse?
I'm like 30 minutes from Baltimore, and I think it's just bad because it's Baltimore.
Yep. Okay.
So it's just not
great. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I love my chat. They love to point out when I'm having issues. Nope, that was me. That was all me.
No, I get you. And hi, chat. By the way, I can see you all in there, like giving us shout outs and sharing our campaign throughout the internets. So we really do appreciate what you've done for us, and to everybody who's jumped on board. From the bottom of our heart, we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, the thing is I don't know why anybody wouldn't share this out though. You guys have a really awesome looking comic book, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah, we like to create shareable comic books. Things that you'll be proud to share.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think
maybe not with your parents and grandparents, but
Oh no, my dad would be all over this. Are you kidding me?
Oh, cool.
And my dad's like in his 70s. I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, look at this," and he'd be like, "Oh, that's disgusting. What book is this? I want to read it."
Nice. Well, I'm pleased to hear that. Cool. So yeah, this is actually one of our most popular tiers as well. So it's the definitive edition plus the black and white line art edition. So you get the best of both worlds with this one. Of course, you get the posters, the A4 sized posters, The books are both signed by Corey and I, and you get the digital version of both of these editions.
Yeah.
Just don't, torrent them or put them up for torrenting. No, it's okay. You can market us more if you want.
Dude, go right ahead and torrent it, and then we'll sue you. We'll track you down on the internet, and we'll sue you. You pay more.
So we've got the definitive edition plus the variants here. So this is basically the default edition plus Corey's variant and Kanan's variant. This is the budget tier, essentially, because you get all the books for a discounted price. You also get the 3 posters with this one. You get all of them signed by Corey and I, and you get the digital versions too. So you get a ton of stuff. And we're going to be including a bunch of extras. We've just unlocked another stretch goal, which we haven't even figured out what we're going to put down for that one. So we'll announce that. If you've got any suggestions, Shae.
Patches.
Patches,
Shae loves patches.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I know a place that prints them and does a very good job. And nobody in the chat is going to even be shocked that I said patches. Yeah, I actually... It sounds ridiculous, but I know a guy and his name is Tony. And I swear he's a real person. And he's very helpful and he does good work.
Great.
But yeah, I love patches. I know that Death Metal Hero loves patches. My whole chat is about to yell, only 3 people in Comicsgate love patches. Lies. Yeah. Other people love patches. I'm telling you. Cool, but yeah, cool. Like I think patches for something like Kozor would be really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, heavy metal people wear patches all the time. I mean, I don't want to assume anything, but this is a pretty heavy metal comic book, I would say. It's been compared to heavy metal, in fact.
I would agree. It is very heavy metal-esque, and definitely something that I feel like like all of the comics that I'm like, yeah, do a patch, like, because I love patches, just like Todd said, right? Shae loves patches. This is true.
Totally. I saw a question there. Is the main character more like Guts or Conan? I would say definitely more like Guts. He's a bit of an asshole, I would. But you find out why.
Spoilers.
You find out why.
He's the nicest guy on the block. Okay.
Yeah, he's just a big teddy bear.
He seems like it. He's wearing the face of something you killed. Sounds like a sweetheart.
Yeah. Yep.
No, not at all. For something like this, if you guys were to do patches, this is something that I would see being actually quite fitting with what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll think about it. We'll try to brainstorm a few ideas and see what we can come up with.
I'll get you my contact, and you can see if it's viable with you guys being in Australia to just kind of get it. I do. I love patches. Like I literally have a stack of patches, and I have a bomber style jacket with my Red Valkyrie logo on the back, and I got one for me and my co-host, and we're filling them with indie patches, and we're putting them like all over the whole jackets. I would love to have a Kozor patch on that as well. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. How much does a patch cost to put together? I feel like it'd be like expensive.
No, per patch you're looking at a couple of bucks depending on your design.
Nice.
So awesome. the more you order, the cheaper it is per patch, and then on top of that, depending on if you're going to go 50, 75, 100% embroidery, what I did was 75, and I'll show you after.
Sure.
How good it looks, but.
All right, that sounds good.
Throwing it out there, and then you have your final Big Daddy tier: 4 books, 5 posters, and a sketch.
Yeah, this one's good. So it's a little bit of an expensive tier. It's $183 USD, but for good reason. You get 4 editions of the book in this one. So you get the default version with my cover. You get Corey's variant. You get the black and white line art edition. And then you get a printing of the original version of Kozor that has basically the one that Corey was holding up before, with untouched artwork, untouched colors, untouched dialogue, all in its original form, right? And it's the alpha version, essentially, of Kozor. It's a collector's item. We're only printing 50 of these. There's only 50 available, and we're probably not going to print them again. So if you want something special that not a whole lot of other people have, that you'll only be able to get from one of the 50 who have purchased it, if you want it later on, then I highly suggest you jump on board for this tier. The other really cool little perk that you get with this one when you jump on board is Corey's going to do up a sketch for you, but it's kind of less of a sketch and more of a finished drawing, basically.
Oh.
You can see him holding it up there. Look at that.
Hell.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So Corey is going to do you up one of these.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Seriously, Corey, that's insane work, man.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to you after the show about a couple of things for Red Valkyrie. But
for sure. You also get 5 posters. They're all A3 sized. So you get a poster of all of the different covers that we've got available there, and a Jimmy Reyes illustration that he did up for us. You get the digital versions of all of those editions. You get a bookmark, you get a sticker, you get 3 collector cards. So we've got this jam-packed with a ton of stuff.
That is awesome. So there's a ton that you can get with that, and definitely worth. It's not even $200. Like, it's definitely worth it. You guys are giving them a lot of cool stuff for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are going to open it up now for questions. So while I wait for other people to start posting in some of their questions, we got one from David Feed from quite a while ago. He said, is the mind monster some sort of sea monsters? Like his lair looks underwater. That was when we were originally scrolling through.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Corey, I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah. Well, he's... It sucks as well, but he's not actually a sea monster. So because he's like a mind monster, you'll see him in different places manipulating different things. So
yeah,
in
sometimes
that scene,
he's
he was
big,
just underwater. So.
Sometimes he's small. He can take multiple forms. But yeah, he's a demonic entity, not a sea monster. However, that's probably why we've had the comparison made between H.P. Lovecraft and Kozor, because he does look like a bit of a sea monster.
Yeah, I could get a little bit of that vibe, but at the same time, like, there's more to it than just that. It's not just it's just really fucking disturbing. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's disturbing.
It's cool.
Oh, just like it's so it's this panel right here that he was talking about, right?
Yeah, look at that big tongue. Just beautiful.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's so thick and juicy and disgusting.
Come on, what are you guys talking about? Tongues are great. Tongues are great.
They are.
Not that'll strangle you like a python. Like,
it's like there's a pile of tongue just sitting there.
It really is. It's like, it looks like intestines like rolled around on top of each other. It's like, oh, it's just a tongue. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Exactly. You can see the big brain there, and the horns coming down around his skeletal face. And he's a giant, right? So I don't know if you guys can see it, but in the top left-hand corner, you can see one Chief Baron kind of floating toward him, not swimming, but floating toward him.
Oh, wow.
Although, is this scene underwater, Corey?
Yeah, so this one is underwater.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny he's asked that question.
I mean, it's subtle, but you could see it just a little bit with the bubbles coming up.
Yeah.
Little bubbles.
It's awesome.
Comic Book Black Belt says, guys, bought your book today. Congrats on a great campaign. That is awesome. Thank you so much,
thanks.
Comic Book Black Belt.
Thank you so much. Russ, I believe, is his name. We really do appreciate it, man. We can't wait to get this book sent out to you. You're going to love it, especially if you liked what you saw in the campaign. In print, it's just a whole different experience.
Oh, it's so exciting. That is super
Yeah.
exciting. Ideas says that he wants me to ask you both the tree question. This is in honor of our good friend Jason Bascom. If you were a tree, what tree would you be?
I would be a powerful oak tree because, they're sturdy, rock solid, immovable.
Okay. Corey?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably the pine cone tree. It's the only one I can think of.
A pine tree. You know what? It'd be an evergreen because they never dull, right?
Yeah. Totally. So
something I don't think about much. So
yeah, I never think about it either.
Well, Corey.
Wolverine said, "Just imagine how dirty that tongue is."
Yeah.
Really try not to. Tried so hard.
Well, he's underwater, but not always underwater. So sometimes that tongue is laying in dirt.
Yeah, you'll see more of it in issue 2.
More of the tongue, Corey? So do you double the tongue because it's issue 2?
Yeah, get a fair bit of tongue in issue 2, so pretty good.
Great. Gotta love it.
Wants to know who are your biggest artistic influences?
I'll let you go ahead, Corey, with that one.
Yeah, so probably like David Finch was where I sort of started off, and then like Greg Capullo and Todd McFarlane, and I guess like Clayton's been a huge influence as well.
No,
thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Well, that's one of the reasons.
I love it.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons we're able to work together on this book is because our styles kind of fit together well.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big David Finch fan, love Mark Silvestri, love Todd McFarlane, all of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to not love all of those gentlemen.
Yeah.
They're all very, very talented. They do
For sure. For sure.
You guys are, so how many issues did you say that you had in mind, like total?
Yeah, so for the first graphic novel, it's going to be like 10, but I get so many ideas, maybe more than that for the first book. But, I like things like Berserk, so that's 30 volumes. Maybe make it as big as that, or bigger.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
So
crazy.
it's going to be a big series.
Mm-hmm.
So when we started this stream, you guys were 403 backers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted to point this
I
out.
didn't even know that.
405 now. So you got at least 2 other backers. You just broke 23,000.
That's amazing.
US dollars. So you're 23,007
awesome.
US dollars.
Yeah,
And,
that's incredible.
I mean, you guys honestly deserve it. You are a fantastic duo for sure.
Thanks.
Genuine Comics says, what was the inspiration for the story and the world it's set in?
Cool. Go ahead, Corey.
I think we sort of
Make it
answered it
interesting.
before. But I don't know if I wrote it down on my phone. But anyway, it's like lots of different things. I was always into like sort of dark fantasy stuff, like the Reddit game and Witcher and Berserk. So, it's all the stuff I want in the comic. And like the attractive looking fantasy women, big brutal warriors, and lots of monsters. So
yeah, you just start laying lines down on the page, right? And it's getting them in the right order. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
I think that you guys are gonna deliver something pretty fucking badass, and I'm very, very excited to see this for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a badass book. It's a disturbing book. It's not for the faint of heart, let me warn you. But if you're into horror, if you're into dark fantasy, medieval stuff, this is definitely the book for you. You're gonna love it. It's gonna hook you in for the many issues of Kozor that are to come. So you're investing into a story that will go on here for years. Corey, I've asked him before, do you want to work on anything else? And all he's got to say is Kozor, Kozor, Kozor. That's all that he dreams
It's like
of doing.
Best comic to work for, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, man, you're invested in this world, Corey. It's amazing.
I think it's awesome, though, that you're like, you know what, this is what I want to do. And instead of being like all the rest of us are like, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to talk about it forever, and I'm never going to do anything about it. You actually are doing something with it, which is really impressive and inspiring. And what you're doing looks fucking phenomenal. All right, so we are just about to wrap up. Do you guys have any other last little bits that you want to cover before we call it?
Corey?
I don't know, man. I think we covered most of it.
We did a great job.
It's hard to know because we've done so many streams. It's like everything's covered over and over again. So
yeah. Well, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who has jumped on board here. I mean, you know, most of the people in the chat, I'm sure, have already been introduced to Kozor on other streams and have likely gotten behind it because, I mean, just all of those backers there is an amazing number. 400 people. We can't wait to send the books out to you guys, get them in your hands so that you can experience the madness that is Kozor. And yeah, if you haven't already backed the book, as we've already mentioned, if you like franchises such as The Witcher, Game of Thrones, Dark Souls, and especially Berserk, this book is going to be right up your alley. It's your kind of deal. And there isn't a whole lot of other comic books available out there quite like Kozor at the moment. Corey's kind of setting the stage for a brand new genre in indie comics, and we're really looking forward to expanding the world of Kozor in the years to come. It's going to be one heck of a ride, and most importantly, thank you, Shae, for having us on today. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm very happy that this worked out for you guys, even if it is unfortunately right after you had closed out from your live campaign. Okay. But you guys have done phenomenally well, and I'm really, really happy to see that this is just exceeded your expectations so much because you guys are definitely putting in the work, and you have a really cool looking IP here. So I'm very excited to see what comes with this one and everything that you guys do in the future.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
We are too.
Thanks.
With that, if you have not backed Kozor, by all means, please check that channel description. Thank you very much, Ideas, for telling me that I didn't have the correct link in there. It's been a long day, but we got it fixed now. It'll take you to Kozor. If you do not want to click through the channel description, I will do you a solid and right there in the chat. So you have absolutely no excuses to not go and back yourself Kozor right now. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Valkyrie. We are still on for our crazy epic bonanza. I don't even know what we're calling it. A giant party where I give away a bunch of shit. That's still happening in October. It's probably going to happen earlier in October rather than later. So make sure that you are subbed and you hit that bell for notifications so you know when we are going live. And you can get yourself some pretty awesome swag. And we will catch all of you beautiful people next time. Thanks so much for joining us. See ya.
Bye-bye.